Alright, bitches. It's time to start talking about certain topics. Like horror. This video started off as me wanting to talk about some of the more scary moments that I've had in video games, but I couldn't really think of many of them. And also, I didn't have the resources necessary to record some of the content. What we're going to do instead is we're going to talk about the scariest moment I ever had in video games. And it might be familiar to some of you. I know this game isn't really popular with today's gaming culture because it's long, boring-ish to most people. And it's old, so... But anyway, I'm sure it's a game that a lot of you are familiar with, and it is... Halo. Everyone knows Halo, right? Halo is a timeless classic, right? Now, if you aren't familiar with Halo or you've never played it, then stick around and watch till the end. But if you have played Halo, there is a 100% chance I know what you're thinking of, and that is only partially what it is. Okay, we'll get to that section in a minute. Before we start, I need to explain something about how I consume media and stuff ever since I was a little kid. I don't know about how you guys play video games or watch movies, but I personally like to get really, really immersed into it. I don't even care what it is. I will forcibly insert myself, this is me, into the medium. And so I like to get really in depth in the character, like I am playing as the character in the game. Another funny thing that really gets me going is music. Music and sound design. Like, ever since I was a little kid, I used to be scared of certain sounds or certain musical tones that just made me panic. The earliest one I can think of was the Abominable Snowman's roar in the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer stop-motion movie. I remember that scared the shit out of me. But it wasn't the character design, it was the sound, right? Another one was the Raiders of the Lost Ark theme, when the faces melt. Like, hearing those noises kind of sets back a primal fight or flight response in my mind. So, keep that in mind going forward. Now, let's go back to Halo. So, when I was a young lad at the age of 12, whenever Halo 4 came out, because I remember the first Halo game I started off with was Halo 4, which I know. A shock. But I specifically remember it was Halo 4. And then I don't remember playing Halo 1 and 2, but I do remember playing Halo 3. And I know I didn't start on Halo 3. And I can say that because there is a moment in Halo 3, spoilers, just so everyone's aware. Just so you all know, there are spoilers for the entire Halo series. So, in Halo 3, after defeating the big bad guys on Earth, right, there's a second clan of bad guys that come in and they kind of start to fuck shit up real quick. I'll reveal who that is in a minute. But there is a sound, a music piece that plays that set forth a primal response in me to just turn off the Xbox and just leave. I'll play a little cue for you right now. And to you, that might not mean a lot, right? To you, that might not be scary at all. That scared the shit out of me. And I was playing that game, and I paused it, and I'm like, huh, why does that sound so familiar? Because I knew I've heard it before. And so I went back to play the original Halo. The one that started it all. Truly a work of masterpiece. A work of masterpiece. There you go, Trey. That's good phonics. And you start off in Halo, basically, with your ship being boarded, and you have to get off, right? And when you are crash landing, there is a sound that plays when you're crash landing. I'll play it here.
We're coming in too fast. Damn, handbrake failure. They pushed too early. I'm losing her. Right by his back.
You see? So, we need to talk about why that whole situation fucked me up. Because that sound played, and there are two major themes that were happening. There was immediate danger and isolation. So, what's a bother got to do except pattern recognition, because we got human brains, right? And it also meant something more alien and unknown, right, was happening. That's what that sound meant. And you don't only hear that sound 2 more times throughout the campaign. Twice on the same goddamn level. I tried to recreate the moment I could, the moment that first spooked me when I heard that in the game. Here it is. Notice how there's no one talking. There's no sound. Cortana's not even talking in your ear. The Marines are dead. All the aliens are dead. It's just you. And in a wide open space. It makes you feel like you're being watched. It's creepy, right? Maybe I'm talking out my ass. I don't know. But now we cut to the scene that everyone who's played Halo will talk about until the end of time. We talk about 343 Guilty Spark. Now, for those of you who don't know, 343 Guilty Spark is, in my opinion, one of the scariest levels in any game ever. Not because it's great level design, though it is in some aspects, but because it is a complete 180 in the way that everything has worked up until now. See, in Halo, there's a hierarchy of enemy types. You got elites, jackals, grunts, and I guess on the side you have the hunters. There's different ways of fighting them, right? You don't have that structure anymore. So I'll just paint a picture for you when you're walking around, when you first start this level, right? In 343 Guilty Spark, you are sent on a mission to go find the captain of the ship that crash landed in the first level, and a team of soldiers that went with him. Captain Keyes is who he is. And you are on another side of the ring, where you're trying to figure out what this whole ring is. And then you insert Cortana into a machine, an alien machine, because that's somehow magic, right? You just insert alien technology into other alien technology, and it just works. Fucking deal with it, okay? But she then starts to panic, right? And it's low poly, and it's unpolished, and the voice acting is pretty shit, but you can still get a sense of panic. Especially as a kid. I didn't really care about the graphics when I was little, so.
The Covenant found something. Buried in this ring, something horrible, and now they're afraid.
Something buried? Where?
The captain, we've got to stop the captain.
Keys? What
The
are
weapons cache he's looking for, it's not really... We can't let him get inside.
I don't understand.
There's no time. Get out of here, find Keys, stop him. Before it's too late!
Womp womp. You land in this swamp, right? And you're trying to find Captain Keyes. You see the pelican that he arrived in, holding a shotgun. And you pick it up. It's one of the first times throughout the game where you can, like, pick up a shotgun, right? And so you're like, oh, cool, new weapon, right? And so you travel along and you see enemy gunfire, right? Or hear them, right? But then you look on your little mini map icon and you see yellow dots. And that's usually a sign of, like, friendlies. And so you think it's a team, but that dot is somewhere out of reach. You can't get to it. Okay, fuck it, fine. It's probably just a glitch in the game, right? So we move on. And we see a bunch of grunts and jackals running out of an opening. And they're being fired at with human weapons. And so you run up and you don't see any humans anymore, right? There's nothing. So you kill the remaining grunts and jackals, right? And you go into the cave, the tunnel, thinking you're gonna see someone. You don't see anyone. And so you keep descending down, and you start to see more enemies. Great, just kill them, right? But then you slowly start to realize there's no elites. All the elites are missing. No bodies, just gone. You slowly start to see more and more of this decrepit landscape. You start to see just dead grunts and jackals strewn about. You see barricades. You see a corridor of blood. Alien blood, keep in mind. But still blood. Something that wasn't killed by you. And probably wasn't killed by your fellow Marines. But I digress. And as you enter further into the facility, you see a single Marine, the only human life form that you have seen up until now, and he's firing a gun at you.
One of those things! I'll blow your brains out! Get away from me! Ah! Ah! Don't touch me, you freaks! I won't be like you. I'll die first. Find your own hiding place. The monsters are everywhere. Play dead. That's what I did. Play dead. They took the live ones. Oh God, I can still hear them. Monsters. Ah! 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 Just leave me alone.
He's shooting you, talking about these things, these beings that have taken the team, killed them. And he keeps repeating, I'm not going to become one of them. And so I don't know about you, I'm in panic mode, right? And that is with retrospect right now. I actually listened to the whole thing during the recording I did for this. But when I was a kid, I didn't know that. I didn't hear any of the context clues. Someone was shooting at me, so I killed his ass, right? And so I didn't get any of that. I just saw someone shooting at me, and I just went along. How foolish I was. You see a cage that looked to be housing something with the side of it open. You also see these dripping green particles. Don't worry, we'll get into that. And so you keep going, you keep walking, and then you find a human corpse. The only other human that you've seen up until now, dead or alive. And his blood is mimicked in the same way that the jackal was. And it's disturbing. And so you finally get there, you get into the place where the Marines once were. You walk into this room and you put in a video chip into your HUD display. That's probably a double negative. I'll make sure. If it is, I'll look like an idiot. And then you get this very cool, like, Aliens 2-esque POV Marine shot, right? And then you see that the Marines are seeing pretty much the exact same thing you are. This isn't really new. This has happened already. And then they get attacked by something, a new enemy type you've never seen before. You have never seen it. It's like a little parasite. and starts attacking the team, and the video cuts out. And as soon as you take out that chip, you realize that you're in the same room that those Marines that just died were in Overrun, and you're all alone. And so you're back against the wall. You spot a door, and it breaks down. Something big is ramming through it, right? And then you realize, oh, it's just a couple of these buggers, right? And since I was playing on easy for the video, they don't really do any damage. Whatever. But when I was a kid, I always played Halo on heroic mode. So, yes, they do a lot of damage. But if you just kill one of them, they explode. So it's fine, right? And you do that a couple more times, and you're like, oh, this is easy. And then the music kicks in. This is where I start to panic, right? The only other time music has been this intense with a violin string is when you are alone, isolated, and in danger. This time, you don't even have Cortana with you, let alone any NPCs that can help you. And so, you turn around and you hear the door breaking behind you, right? And you see an immediate flood. That's what they're called. Of these new enemies. That was a terrible joke. And so you see a wave of these enemies come out, and you're just like, oh, okay, this is easy. And then you see a silhouette, a singular silhouette, but one of a figure, right? And it's like, oh, I guess this is just a new enemy type, right? Music's still blaring. I'm still in heightened alert mode. And so I shoot it, it dies. A couple more come in, I shoot it, it dies. And we move on, right? I paid no mind to it, right? Until you realize you kill a few more. I started to look at the corpse, and I realized that's an elite. Those aren't a new enemy type. That is an enemy type that it's taken over the bodies of the enemies that you were just trying to kill, right? And it shows this in a really good way. That shows the Covenant and the Flood fighting each other, showing that it's a completely separate faction than the one that you've been fighting with up until now. And so you keep going down. Well, you aren't trying to go down anymore. You're trying to escape. It literally says in your HUD, escape, which is kind of alarming. You keep trying to go up, right? And you get to the same elevator that you once used to take up, right? And you press it, and it goes down further. Blood all around you. It's kind of like you're descending into your own hell. Which, in many respects, it kind of was when you were a kid. But then you start to see that there's a different shape of this new enemy type. A more human shape. And they're firing human weapons at you now. That's when my little kid brain, my little baby kid boy brain, just kind of crapped out and just went into panic mode forever. And so now, whenever I hear that noise, that violin beat, I get a little edge to me. Yeah, and I start to look over my shoulder and make sure that there's nothing there. And I don't know if that's like PTSD. It probably isn't, because I've never been in a fucking war. Hopefully I've made a compelling argument as to why I like this game. That's not the point of the video. The point of the video is to say that this is one of the scariest moments in gaming, right? This is my personal scariest moment. And again, this video was meant to be a lot bigger, but due to a lack of time management skills and recording equipment, I've let you all down. I hope this turned out to be an enjoyable video for you. This is very different than what some of the content that I've been producing is. Most of what I do is a gaming channel, but I do want to start to do more of like these videos where it's like explaining something in gaming culture or whatever, but I guess we'll see how this works out in the end. Comment down some of the scariest moments you've had in gaming. I would love to hear them. And maybe I can play some more scary games in the future. Spoiler alert, the Slender The Arrival remake just came out, and I am 100% going to be playing that, so look forward to that. if you enjoyed the video, please show your support by hitting that subscribe button, and yeah, that's about it. Thank you for watching the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.